stabbed through the heart from behind.
Surely a couple of kids couldn't have done this.
Well, obviously they can, because that's exactly what they did. And don't call me Shirley. Attack on Titan Episode 6, aka starring Mikasa Ackerman. It's basically just all, I mean, we start off with a little bit of Armin, but we basically just learn all about Mikasa and where she comes from and why she kind of is the way that she is. We start out on a really powerful moment because, once again, Josh Grell sacrifices his voice for Armin's scream. He does really... This guy, like, I don't know how many people they must have went through to find Armin, because you could have Armin, you could have a guy or girl playing Armin. In fact, I think in the Japanese original, I think it is a girl that's playing Armin. But, I mean, you could play with that either way, but what they ended up doing, it's not unheard of either. I think Naruto, in both the Japanese and English, is portrayed by a girl. It's a thing in anime. It happens. But, the Josh Grell as Armin... like, episode after episode after episode, he proves more and more that he deserves to be the voice of Armin. And maybe I'm biased because Armin's my favorite character, but I think it's perfect. I have no qualms with it whatsoever. In fact, I think he kind of elevates the material a little bit. With all these, like, new bits being added and new clips here and there, I was kind of hoping that they would redo the scene where Armin comes across the girl giving her boyfriend CPR, and you see that his legs are missing. I don't know, something about the way it was done in the original version. You might not have noticed that dude's got no legs. Like, you could very easily miss that. I was kind of hoping they would, I don't know, make that a little more obvious when they redid this, but that didn't really happen. It's still it's pretty much stayed the exact same. Bit of a bummer, but not really a game changer, a game breaker. What was more of a game breaker was the scene that followed, where Mikasa kind of gets introduced into the episode. It's a scene where the civilians are trying to escape through the gate, and they've got this, like, a merchant guy, like, blocking the path. First of all, I never understood why everyone in the entire town just stood there and took it. Like, they outnumber the merchant people like 10 to 1. It shouldn't have been a question, and especially considering their other option of being eaten by titans, it's kind of like, no, yeah, somebody would lead the charge, and, I mean, it would be ugly, but, I mean, you could very easily turn that into, like, a look what people turn into in a dire situation kind of thing, kind of like The Walking Dead. But the dubbing in the scene is still not all that great. It's very, very wordy for a dire situation like this. It's full of what I call thesaurus moments, where they very obviously just went in and picked bigger, wordier words to fill the mouth gaps of people moving.
What the hell is wrong with you people? I don't think you fully appreciate how bad the situation is!
And it's disappointing to hear, especially coming from Mikasa, because Trina Nishimura as Mikasa, she... Overall, I like her. I would give her an approval, a thumbs up. She's stronger when she's playing, like, a real character. Like, when she's got, like, genuine moments. Whenever she plays up the cockier, sarcastic aspect of Mikasa, that's where I tend to kind of lose it a little bit. Maybe that's just because I'm not used to that being a thing. In the original, she was very much more straightforward. There wasn't a whole lot of, like, quippy one-linerness to her. In fact, this scene probably in the original was the closest it gets to being like, I'm a cool guy kind of dialogue. And they stretch it a little too far in the English version.
人が人のために死ぬのが当然だと思っているのなら、きっと理解してもらえるだろう。時に一人の尊い命が多くの命を救うこともあること。
やってみろ！お前の雇い主とは長い付き合いだ。下っ端の身体なんざ冗談で決めるぞ！
死体がどうやって喋るの
？Yeah, no arguing with that. You're absolutely right, sir. guess it's what you call the greater good. Still, sometimes it's not the life or the death of a soldier that makes the biggest difference.
Don't you even dare! Your commander and I are old friends! One word from me and you'll be court-martialed! Believe it!
That word gonna come from beyond the grave?
Granted, it's not like thematically, it's not a very important scene. There is a nice little moment between Mikasa and one of the kids, but that doesn't really have any dialogue to it, so it doesn't ultimately matter. It's just to establish that Mikasa's doing her job, and she's very... there's something about her that draws attention to her. She's very unlike the other soldiers, which is what triggers the flashback into her past. And this, I think, is where the episode really needed to shine. And it did. In a lot of different ways. Not just in Mikasa's performance, but actually, surprisingly, with Dr. Yeager, Aaron's dad. In the original, he was very much like, he didn't have a whole lot to him. Like, you get why he was a good doctor and a good dad, but nothing particularly about him stood out. In this, they give him much, they've altered the lines a little bit, but to an improvement, if you ask me. When he's talking straight to his son, he doesn't talk like a doctor or a person. He talks to him very much like a father and son would. He tries to teach him, to pass along lessons to him, and I like that.
Mikasa?
そうだ。お前と同い年の女の子だ。この辺りは子供がいないからな。仲良くするんだぞ。
そいつの出方次第だけど。
エレン。そんなんだから一人しか友達ができないんだぞ。
Her name's Mikasa?
Yes, and she's just about your age. So try to get along, okay? There aren't really that many children around here, and I'd rather you not grow up to be an outcast.
If she's nice to me, then we won't have a problem.
Aaron, look for the bad in people expecting to find it, and you will.
There's also one line that I'm really glad they didn't change, and it's actually from Aaron. When he's describing to his dad what he thinks of the kidnappers, he describes them as being monsters disguised, or animals disguised as humans, that they weren't really human. And that's pretty much word for word exactly like what it was in the original with the subtitles. And I like that a lot because that's a very important line for two reasons. First of all, it shows us how Aaron views the world, even as a kid, before the post-traumatic stress with what happened to his mom. He already viewed the world as very black and white. Humans good, monsters bad. There was no like gray area in between. So it was a good defining moment for Aaron's character, and then also it foreshadows later on when when we find out that there are Titans that can disguise themselves as humans. Okay, again, this isn't really a judgment on the dub, but I just wanted to point this out because I may not get another chance to ever talk about this. And this is in both versions, but okay, so Mikasa's dad gets stabbed, he falls over, he slumps to the side. Then Mikasa's mom runs up and attacks them, and she gets killed, and she falls down. But then in the shot that follows that, somehow Mikasa's dad's body magically, like, just transported to the middle of the room. What happened there? Overall, episode 6 was a solid entry to the dub. I actually liked it quite a bit. It's just except for that one scene. But again, that scene doesn't carry a whole lot of plot importance. It's just to kind of trigger the flashback that lets us learn about Mikasa. Really, this whole thing hinged on Trina Nishimura's performance as Mikasa. I think she nailed it because she had to get both the adult and the kid version side. The kid version shows us kind of like this cheery, happy, more happy-go-lucky side of her that we're not really used to, which helps to help make us feel bad for afterward when suddenly you notice the shift in character. What would have been her personality suddenly just dissolving and is gone. Makes her pretty tragic. And then they kind of had some fun with the other doesn't matter makeshift lines to some greater effect than others. Looking forward to episode 7. I will see you guys here next time. By the way, I'm loving the new Kill la Kill shirt. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think maybe the V-neck might have been a bad choice for me, but I got this on Redbubble.com. Madoka Meguka. I hope I'm saying that right. I'll put the link right here if you guys want to go get one. It's pretty good pricing, honestly. And it's not just Kill la Kill. They've got Attack on Titan and a bunch of other independent anime type stuff too. That's not too broad. You know what I mean? I never liked the kind of anime shirts that were just like Dragon Ball Z, and then like the whole roster of characters just standing there. It's too loud. It's too much. I like the ones that are a little more subtle, that only like fans would get. Like, hey, 3-star. I see you have 3-star uniform there. But anyway, yeah. If you guys want to go order one, by all means, go for it. Let them know that I sent them, that Samoan guy sent you there. Would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next week. Bye.
Your commander and I are old friends. One word from me and you'll be court-martialed. Believe